In 2010, in addition to the BP oil spill that happened, there was another very important event. Another Disney Channel child star had a tantrum that ended in rehab. That's right, when Demi Lovato lost all control and pushed her backup dancer on her Camp Rock tour, tabloids quickly jumped to conclusions. She was just another Disney Channel child star who had gone wild. Typical story, right? Well, not exactly. After 3 months in rehab, Demi Lovato actually left Timberline Knolls, the treatment center she attended, and returned to her home in LA, where she began to tell her story to the world. One that included a battle with anorexia, bulimia, self-harm, bipolar disorder, and substance abuse. Since Demi's dark Disney days, she has become a mental health crusader who is a mental health crusader who all of us could benefit from. According to the Society for the Teaching of Psychology, nearly 30% of college students are suffering from depression. However, only 20 to 35% of those students are actually seeking the help they need. If put into proportion, that means while 8 or 9 of us in here are suffering with our own stories, only 1, maybe 2 of us are seeking the help that we need. And like many in this room, my family's story has been shaken, jolted, and turned upside down by mental illness, largely because of the stigma that it carries with it has prevented my loved ones from seeking the help that they so desperately need. And as a die-hard Demi Lovato fan who has met her twice and forgotten to speak both times, I look up to her not only because of her music, but because of the work she is doing for the world. Demi Lovato is a mental health crusader who is using her power to combat the stigma that mental illness carries by spreading awareness, advocating, and supporting those who are suffering from mental illness. Demi Lovato's story as a mental health crusader began in 2014, where she focused on primarily spreading awareness about mental illness. She did so by further educating herself on the topic, in addition to sharing her story and what she learned. According to a press release about the event, in 2014, Demi Lovato participated in the Mental Health Listening and Engagement Tour. Here, she learned from top mental health advocates about mental illness, including the JED Foundation and Mental Health America. She learned about initiatives already in place to support mental illness and areas of mental illness that a light still needs to be shined on. Coming from the tour, Demi Lovato ended up partnering with 5 organizations, including a few of the organizations from the Mental Health Listening and Engagement Tour, to create the Be Vocal, Speak Up for Mental Health initiative. According to the initiative's website, the initiative was created to encourage Americans to speak up about their mental health struggles, in addition to asking allies in the community to speak up about the need for change. On Be Vocal's website, Demi Lovato shares her story about her experience with bipolar disorder, in addition to requesting that the readers speak up about their own struggles as well. Furthering this, Demi Lovato also was interviewed on many different talk shows and morning shows, including MSNBC, Sunday Morning CBS, and The Today Show. On the show, she didn't speak about music. Instead, she spoke about her struggle with bipolar disorder and then everything she's learned about mental health as a whole. And it's important to note that the work that Demi Lovato is doing here is actually beneficial. According to the Society for the Teaching of Psychology, when celebrities speak up about their struggles with mental health, it actually decreases the stigma and increases the likelihood of people speaking up. So truthfully, Demi Lovato speaking up about her struggles makes all of us in this room more likely to speak up and get the help that we need. Moving on, Demi Lovato's next step as a mental health crusader actually developed from the Be Vocal initiative, where she became an advocate for mental health reform. In 2014, Demi Lovato took her first step as a mental health advocate, according to Andrea Parks from CBS News, when she spoke in front of Congress as a representative of the Be Vocal initiative. Here, she told many advocates about her story, according to the press release by Sanofi, a partner with the event, and then a pharmaceutical company. She told her story to hundreds of advocates and then spoke with U.S. legislators about the state of mental health in America today. Demi Lovato explained that she went through many years of pain and suffering before she got help, and she wants to prevent others from going through that same pain by making mental health more accessible. Demi Lovato's next step as a mental health advocate was this past summer when she spoke at the Democratic National Convention in support of mental health care reform. According to Rolling Stones journalist Daniel Krebs, Demi Lovato urged politicians to provide support for laws that provide improved access to improved health care. And Demi Lovato used herself as an example of someone who has championed mental illness, explaining that just because you're suffering doesn't mean that you can't live a normal and empowered life. The final step of Demi Lovato's story that I'm going to be speaking with you about today are the steps that she's taking to support those who are suffering from mental illness. In 2013, Demi Lovato wrote a book titled Staying Strong 365 Days a Year to help keep her readers connected with their recovery goals. In the book, each page is designated to a specific day. of the year, and it begins with a quote, an explanation of the quote, and then a goal for the day. And Demi Lovato has woven through this book her story of her struggles through mental illness and depression and substance abuse. And ultimately, this book is helpful because it can be used to help those who are suffering from mental illness but they're not yet ready to seek the help that they need so that their mental health journey can be aided in some way. Thus, the 80% of us in this room who are suffering but aren't seeking the help that we need, our journey can be aided in some shape or form. More recently, and my favorite way that Demi Lovato has provided support, is during her Future Now 2016 tour this past summer. Demi Lovato actually held workshops for her fans that were free before each show that were put on by CAST Centers, a treatment center that helped Demi Lovato on her road to recovery. According to Colby Ikovit, from the Washington Post, a journalist, Demi Lovato held these workshops before each show, and they were about 45 minutes long, hosted by Michael Bayers, the founder of CAST Centers. And at each workshop, Demi Lovato attended, but it was often just to listen to the speakers. She didn't speak at all. And they were 45 minutes long, and the people who attended were often struggling with their own stories themselves, but working towards a healthy journey and a healthy life. And afterwards, after the show, CAST Centers was always available to help the attendees and direct them towards local resources should that be the next step that they would like to take. So overall, Demi Lovato is so much more than the typical narrative of a Disney Channel child star gone wild. She has transformed into a mental health crusader who has used her power to combat the stigma that mental illness carries by spreading awareness, advocating, and supporting those who are suffering from mental illness. We often keep our stories of struggle to ourselves. We forget how much power our narratives have. However, as Demi Lovato has proven, our stories have the potential to change lives. So speak up, share your story, and support others who are doing the same.